Good day, esteemed viewers. My name is Monsurat, a 300 level law student of Olabisi Onabanjo University and also an undergraduate intern at HARLEM solicitors. In today's video lecture, I'll be discussing the general duties of a telecommunication licensee. By way of introduction, what is a license? A license is a permission granted by a competent authority to engage in a business or an occupation. A telecommunication licensee or a telecommunication service provider has the duty to comply with all the terms and conditions stipulated in its license and also the provision of the Nigerian Communication Act of 2003 and its subsidiary legislation. The Nigerian Communication Commission has the mandate to grant license to all telecommunication service providers under the Nigerian Communication Act of 2003. According to Section 31 of the Nigerian Communication Act of 2003 and also Regulation 5 of the Licensing Regulation 2019, it provides that all communication services provided by all telecommunication service providers must pass on to the license granted by the Commission. However, a situation whereby a telecommunication service provider does not comply with the terms and conditions stipulated in its license, the Nigerian Communication Commission has the mandate to impose an administrative fine on such an offending licensee, and also such a telecommunication service provider license might be revoked or suspended for a period of time. It is imperative to know that the Nigerian Communication Act of 2003 imposes the general duty of care on all telecommunication service providers to ensure that their network facilities and network services are not used for criminal purposes. According to Section 146 Sub 1 of the Nigerian Communication Act of 2003, it provides that all telecommunication service providers must use their best endeavor to ensure that the network facilities and the network services they own are not used for the commission of an offense under any written law being in operation in Nigeria. Apparently, it also establishes the fact that all telecommunication service providers must also adopt necessary measures, including the deployment of relevant technical measures to ensure that their network facilities and network services are not used for the commission of a crime. For example, a telecommunication service provider has the duty to report any suspicious activity relating to its network facilities for the facilitation of a crime. They also have the duty to ensure of obtaining information from their subscriber in tracing an investigation of a crime relating to their telecommunication network. Also, they also have the duty of not using their network facilities for the facilitation of any crime. For example, they will be in violation of their duty if they produce or transmit material that are subversive, obscene, or indecent under the Nigerian criminal law. Subsequently, the Nigerian Communication Act of 2003 also imposes the duty to comply with the lawful request of the Commission and the law enforcement agency to ensure for the enforcement of Nigerian laws, preservation of national security, and also the prevention of crime. Under this, in respect to Section 146 Sub 2 of the Nigerian Communication Act of 2003, it provides that all telecommunication service providers must comply with all lawful requests from the Commission or other law enforcement agency as far as it is necessary reasonable for the attempted commission or the commission of a crime, and also for the enforcement of Nigerian laws, prevention of crime, and also for the preservation of national security. Regulation 7 Sub 1 of the Nigerian Communication Enforcement Processes Regulation 2005 elaborates on Section 146 Sub 2 of the Nigerian Communication Act of 2003. Upon the request for a service provider to provide basic information in assisting the law enforcement agency, such requests must be deemed lawful if it is in writing and also it is duly approved and signed by the Nigerian police officer not under the rank of the Assistant Commissioner of Police or its equivalent. However, this regulation does not apply to the Nigerian Communication Commission under the powers stipulated in Section 146 of the Nigerian Communication Act of 2003. To a large extent, the enforcement process under the Regulation 7 Sub 1 of the Nigerian Communication Enforcement Processes Regulation 2005 provides a broad basis for all law enforcement agencies to have unrestricted access to a subscriber's information without any judicial authorization or safeguard. Therefore, there is a need to review this regulation to ensure that a subscriber's right to data privacy is being protected during the process in which a law enforcement agency might want to have an access to a subscriber's information or data. Licensing Regulation 61 of the Licensing Regulation 2019 provides that all telecommunication service providers must operate telecommunication system and also offer services in respect to the Act and also in respect to the terms and regulations stipulated in the license issued. It is, however, important to note that these functions explained are not only the functions that a telecommunication service provider might perform. They also have duties in which they have to perform for their consumers or subscribers. A telecommunication service provider have the duty of providing an advanced warning for anticipated service disruption, planned outages, and also services and service area in which the planned outages will affect. They should also provide applicable compensation for all subscribers that will be affected by the planned outages. They also provide basic information during the process in which the service level agreement are not met or they are being breached. What do I mean by service level agreement? This is the commitment between the service provider and the subscriber. This is just to ensure that both the service provider and the subscriber are on the same page in terms of the condition and agreement. The telecommunication service provider also have the duty of providing network facilities in which a subscriber can report any fault within 24 hours a day. In conclusion, these duties of telecommunication service provider being explained needs to be duly performed by all telecommunication service providers in order to prevent their communication license from being revoked or suspended for a period of time. For more telecommunication updates, you can visit our firm's website www.harlemsolicitors.com and also visit our social media accounts at Harlem Solicitors. Thank you.